Yeah, I'd like to thank all the first responders, the nurses, the patients, all the people that are working right now when other people's aren't. I know that they're busy right now, people in the hospital and they're under siege, and I just want to say thank you. And those are things that don't go unnoticed. I know you guys do a lot of thankless jobs, and we're very grateful for you guys. And I just wanted to say thank you for all those healthcare workers that are going to battle for us right now.
Great. Okay, so we'll move forward with the media question and answer session. If you have a non-tech question for Dumo, please raise your hand by expanding the participant button at the bottom and then hovering over your name and raising your hand. We'll start with Seth Rohrbaugh from the Tribune Review.
Hi, Brian. Appreciate your time, and I hope you and your family are doing well under the circumstances. I just wanted to ask you about being a defensive defenseman. There's an idea, or at least there was a classic idea that when you play defense as a defenseman, you block shots, you hit, you maybe clutch and grab back in the old days. You can't really do that now. Like, what does being a defensive defenseman in 2020? Like, how would you explain that?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's single-minded. I wouldn't say that I consider myself just a defensive defenseman. I mean, I like to jump up in the rush too and try to create offense, but I just say uh, I'm more timely in the defensive zone, and I don't take as many chances, or I'm not as high risk as other players are offensively. I mean, I try not to have any cheat in my game and try to uh, take pride in my defensive coverage and my responsibilities. And I know it can help out our team, especially if I'm out there with Sid's line, Gino's line, any of our lines that. It does us no good spending a lot of time in a defensive zone. So the quicker I can be on breakouts or getting the puck up on the rush or anything like that involves defensively, but also helps our team generate some offense.
Next, we'll go to Mike DeFabo from the Post-Gazette. Mike, can you unmute yourself?
Sorry, I'm like Brian, man. I'm not even a father, and I don't know how to use technology. I guess my question for you, Brian, is you welcomed a baby into this world in November, and then obviously you had the injury, and now this pause. Has some of this unfortunate situation with the injury and then the pause given you any more of an opportunity to spend some time at home and enjoy the new baby?
Yeah, I mean, talking with a lot of the players and stuff like that, and other fathers on the team. I mean, it's very rare for parents to be able to spend this amount of time with their kids, and I'm very fortunate where it was very unlucky where I had my injury, and obviously I wish I could have played every game that I missed, but I mean in that time I was able to spend a lot of time at home with Braden and just see him develop. He turned 6 months the other day, so it was pretty cool to not miss much of his life so far, and especially early on in his life. This is where a lot of his development happens, both mentally and him developing trust in his parents. So I'm very fortunate. I've been able to spend a lot of time with him, and I haven't been taking any minute for granted because I know when the season does start that it's our duty to go back, play games, and whether we travel or anything like that, that's our responsibility. But in the meantime, I've been really cherishing my time with my wife and my son, and definitely taking advantage of all the opportunities and just trying to be around them as much as I can.
Wes Crosby with NHL.com.
Hey Brian, thanks for doing this. Kind of going off of what Mike just asked, as a player, how challenging have these past several months been for you, just with the injury being off the ice for a few months there, coming back for those 5 games, and then it getting interrupted so quickly?
Yeah, it's very weird. It's very strange, but I was very lucky, and I'm grateful that I was able to get those 5 games in before the break, and just mentally, I think that is going to benefit me being able to know what my routine was, what I had to do to get back, and I mean, I felt like when I was playing that I was getting back to being a very solid player. So it showed me that I could still come back from an injury like that. I'd never been out for that long before in my career. So I had to prove to myself that I could be able to come back and still compete and play at a high level and at the most important, crucial part of the season. So I think I did that. I mean, I think I was satisfied with how I came back. I was very lucky to have amazing people working with me in Pittsburgh. I mean, the staff and the medical staff, the trainers, everyone is excellent. So I was very fortunate in that. And I mean, I think it kind of helps mentally too, at this point where I wasn't on skates for about 3 months there. So it's sort of similar to what's going on right now, except I'm not nursing injuries. So I at least proved to myself that I could not skate for 3 months and still come back and play. I mean, obviously, I don't want that to ever happen or have to be in that scenario, but it definitely does help, and it helps mentally that I've come back from that before, and we're kind of going through a similar thing right now.
Jonathan Bomboli, Tribune Review.
Hey, Dumo, you're a father now. 2 or 3 of the guys in the top 6 are younger than you. Do you feel like you've sort of entered you have a lot of tenure with this team. Do you feel like you've sort of entered a new phase in your career as far as how that goes?
I don't know. I still try to be the same person as I was when I was coming in. I mean, I try to be the best teammate I can, and whether they're young or old, I try to be the same no matter who they are. And we have a great group of balanced with older guys and younger guys. And I mean, age-wise, I am in the middle, but I still feel young, and it's still fun going to the rink every day, and definitely having some guys that are younger than you. Obviously, you try to talk with them as much as you can, and just be a great teammate to them because they're looking at you for guidance and for leadership. So just try to just try to be yourself, and that's what I've done. And it's been fun getting to know some new teammates now. But I mean, all of us are looking forward to trying to create something special. And I think at the time where you become really a team is through these playoff hunt and through playoff races. So hopefully we can get something going and try to get back as a group and as a team.
We'll go back to Seth Rohrbaugh from the Tribune Review.
Brian, you're probably never going to be a guy that puts up like 15 goals and 50 points a season. Do you ever look at any sort of advanced numbers or metrics in terms of how you gauge your play or how you play defense? I mean, is there anything like a number or anything like that you can look at and say, hey, I had a good game here defensively?
Yeah, I'm pretty honest with myself, and I know if I played a good game or a bad game. I don't really have to look at points or stats or anything like that. I can know, and I have pretty good memory of shift by shift about what happened and if I got beat or I missed a chance or anything like that. So I mentally know if I've played a good game or a bad game, and I think that's important to be honest with yourself because that's the only way that you can get better, at least in my game. And I know some people might base it off points, but that's not me. I mean, I'd rather win the game than get a point any day, and that's kind of what I take pride in. And it's a lot more fun winning the game than getting a point. So for me, but I mean, I wouldn't say I gauge it on necessarily anything, but I know mentally and after watching the game, and I like to watch my shifts after too, and I can usually tell what kind of game I had, and usually if we win or we lose, that plays a part in it too. I say that's the biggest stat for me.
Go to Mike DeFabo from the Post-Gazette.
Hey, Brian. Obviously, there's still a lot of speculation and uncertainty about when or how the NHL will resume. But one of the ideas that's been floated has been to create a sort of bubble scenario where you guys would all be kind of sequestered in hotels in some kind of a hub city. If that were the case, you would likely be away from your family for an extended period of time, maybe even a couple months. As somebody with a young family, what would be your thoughts on something like that, a scenario where you guys would have to go and be away from your family for a couple months at a time?
Yeah, I mean that's obviously a lot of scenarios are being played out, and that's why I'm not taking anything for granted right now. Being home with my family, and I'm enjoying every moment of it. Obviously, if that's what the NHL decides and what we decide, then that's what we do, and we go there, and we focus on winning a Stanley Cup, and that's our goal. And at that point, it's a race, and we got to try to get back and try to become a team and get back on the ice and get our touches and try to do everything we can to try to win a Stanley Cup, and that becomes the main focus then. But right now, I mean, today, tomorrow, I'm gonna enjoy the time with my family and gonna try to work out and become a better hockey player as much as I can.
Wes Crosby, NHL.com.
Hey, Brian, along those lines, what you just said at the end there, what are you doing to be prepared in case this thing does start back up?
We have a small gym in our house, so that's been good to be able to utilize that. I mean, I haven't used it before too much, just because of obviously our facilities here in Pittsburgh, but it's been good to have, definitely. It's been fun also playing some street hockey. That's something I haven't done, I think, since I was a kid. I remember growing up in my neighborhood, we had a bunch of hockey players, and that's all we did every day was play street hockey, floor hockey, mini sticks, baseball, basketball. We just played sports, and we played out in the driveway and or anywhere we could get a game. So it's kind of took me back to that roots, and it's been really fun going out in the driveway and playing some hockey, and it's been really enjoyable.
Michelle Crecchiolo, PittsburghPenguins.com.
Just a couple quick cooking follow-ups. Do you still watch cooking shows in your spare time? I know you used to do that before. I don't know if you have time now with the baby. And then what's the first restaurant that you're going to go to once everything starts opening back up?
Ooh, um, well, first, I grew up, and what really got me into cooking, into food, and just culinary arts is Anthony Bourdain, and he was. I feel like I've watched every one of his No Reservations, The Layover, pretty much everything that he's put his hands on. I've read some of his books. That was an influential guy in my culinary and my cooking and just how much I love wine too, and he played a big part in that. So um, he was the master. He was the best. And for what restaurant I'm looking, all of them. I mean, I love going to all the different restaurants, and especially in Pittsburgh, they have a good food scene that's going on. And I like just checking out every new and different and uh, and trying out every different type of cuisine. And I mean, I look forward to just going, sitting outside, relaxing, and eating some food that's not cooked by me.
Seth Rohrabaugh.
Hey Brian, you were a guy like I'm looking at your numbers here in high school. You were a guy you put up like 60 points in like 20 some games when you're in high school. Is there a point in your hockey career where you realize maybe not necessarily just being an offensive guy, but concentrating on defense or refining your defensive game would be something that could help you become a successful NHLer?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like at that point I wasn't really looking at what game was going to make me become an NHL player. I think I was just trying to fit on the team and try to just win. I mean, if the team needed me to play defense, I'd play defense. If the team needed me to score, I'll try to score. But I mean, on my high school team back in Biddeford, we had a great group, and I think we all just really gelled together. I mean, we had a terrific team, and individually, you can benefit when you have a great team, and that's what I did there. And same thing when I went on to college. I mean, I just tried to find a role and try to fit in as much as I can. I mean, I was never a first power play guy. I think we had five forwards on our power play then. I played a little bit on the second unit, but I just tried to play a game that could help us win. And that's what I feel like every team that I've gone on to, that's kind of how I try to leave my mark on the team. I don't worry. Not that I adapt, but I mean, depending on who I'm playing with, who I'm playing against, I just try to, I mean, be who I can be, but also try to fit a role for that team to try to help us win.
Mike DeFabo.
Hey, Brian. You kind of were talking about the injury a little bit earlier on. I'm curious, did you feel like you were back to 100% in the 5 games you were back, or do you feel like having this extra time has helped you recover and become more like 100%?
Yeah, I felt really good when I came back. Obviously, I was hesitant. I mean, not during the first game, but just mentally of wanting that first game over with, just trying to get back into playing. Like I said, I'd never been out that long, um, especially not skating that long, and you never really know how it's going to go. But I felt great. The injury healed. The training staff were phenomenal with me, and yeah, I was very grateful for that. I felt really really good, but obviously mentally, it's still not there. I would obviously like to play more games than that, but I'm just looking back at it now. I'm glad I was able to play at least 5 games and really solidify myself tell myself that I can play at a high level and come back quickly.
We'll take a couple more questions here before we move on to the pre-submitted questions. Wes Crosby.
Hey, Brian. Where did you feel as a team your game was at right before the pause happened? Obviously, the guys had that rough patch in late February, and then you guys won 3 of 5 to start March. So did you feel like you were getting it together there right before the pause?
Yeah, definitely. I really felt that. And you can see in that New Jersey game, I mean, that's a team that we've struggled against, especially in New Jersey. I mean, they're a team that makes you work for everything. They play an honest game, and they were beating some really good teams. You could see the way that we played, and we all really played together. We all believed, and we were really celebrating the little things, the block shots, just even breakouts or chipping the puck out, and I feel like we were really coming together. I mean, obviously through adversity, you can go either way. We weren't getting the bounces. Teams are playing us hard. We had a long road trips. We weren't getting the wins, and you can become frustrated with that, and that can solidify your season with one bad stretch. But it was good to see us come out of that. I really felt like that would have made us stronger going through those ups and those downs, and that's something we hadn't gone through that whole year. So I mean, you can look at it both ways, and I thought coming out of that and being able to come back and join the team that we were going to be better off from it.
Seth, do you have one more?
Yes, please. Hey, Brian, just last question about the defenseman thing. Who would you look, if you looked around the league, who would you say are some of the better defensive defensemen? Not necessarily guys that win the Norris Trophy or go to the All-Star game, but guys that are, the first over the boards for the PK, or the guys that get the matchups against the 40 goal scorers. Who are guys you look at in that kind of vein?
Yeah, I mean, I know Ryan McDonough. He's a very good, really reliable player defensively. Same with Jacob Slavin for Carolina. Those are two guys that we played against a lot, and those are two guys that are good both ends of the ice. Very good, reliable, and playing honest games. So, I mean, those are two guys I'd say that jump out right away to me.
So if the league were to go directly to the playoffs when it returns, would a veteran team like the Penguins be better prepared than some others to go directly from an extended shutdown to high-stake games? Why or why not?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd benefit us. Obviously, everyone's right now in the same scenario where no one's practicing a team, no one has an upper hand right now, and um, I mean, this is kind of unprecedented where we jump right into a playoff race. So it's hard to say if any team has an edge or anything like that. But obviously, with our playoff success in the past and some of the guys that we have on our team, and we know as a group the type of individuals we have as a team. So we know that everyone right now is doing everything they can to put their best foot forward, and when we do come back, that they're going to be ready to go, and we have a very well, I wouldn't say wise, but very responsible group, and I think that's going to benefit us when we do come back and play. So I think we will have an edge.
Having experienced it in normal times, how would it feel to possibly win the cup without fans in the building, a public celebration, or having a cup day?
They can't take it away from you. I mean, winning the Stanley Cup, no matter where. If I mean, if we're playing in my driveway, that'd be fine with me. If we're playing for the Stanley Cup, I mean, that's something that you don't need much other motivation other than that, and that's what it is for me. And it kind of, without fans or without a lot of the stuff that involves Stanley Cup playoffs, it kind of take you back to my childhood and stuff of when we're just playing out there for fun, and back when we're in might squirts, we're going to these NHL arenas and there's no one in the crowd, but we guess what, we still want to win the game as much as possible. So that's where my mindset's at, and um, I think the ultimate goal is the Stanley Cup still.
I have just two more for you here. Leaders are always important. Not around is not something that can be learned until going through it. What have you learned about leading during this unique situation, and did the time away because of the injury help in that regard?
A little bit. I mean, the time away and the injury, it's tough. It really makes you realize when guys are injured how much they kind of away from the team, and that's something that I hadn't gone through before. And it definitely make me realize now to include them. And our group did a great job of that, and I was very thankful for every guy on the team that always coming by whenever I was doing rehab or anything like that, and just having a conversation with me because I don't get to see them a lot, even though I'm in the rank around the same time as them. They're doing something as a group, and I got to do something individually, and that can weigh on you, especially when you're doing it for months and months. Um, but I'm very thankful for everyone that on our team, and including me, and helping me still feel part of the family, and very thankful for that.
All right, last one here. What has been your biggest takeaway during this extended period of time away from hockey?
There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that's happened, but I mean, I think just not to be cliche, but not to take a minute for granted. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. This is pretty crazy in our lifetime of something like this has happened, and it's really made me uh, realize the little things in life, and just to enjoy the moment, and be in the present as much as I can, and whether that's around my family, around my teammates, in the middle of a hockey game, just be happy where I'm at,